E.g. It's known as the Green Hell. It's a place where you can cut a clearing into it, set up camp, wake up the next morning, and the path you had cut getting in has closed up already.
That's pretty cool.
It's a fast-growing. It's a jungle and it's thousands or hundreds of people have gone missing in this jungle.
Gee, I wonder why.
And there's even been legends around it about a white race of Indians living within it. Now, those legends started after, like, the white man explored the South American continent, but it could be that legend has some truth to it, where like some explorers went in there, got lost, mated with the locals, and now that tribe of people are white skinned,
or at least lighter colored.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because they'd appear like a lot, like almost like ghostly white or something, I guess, to the normal native inhabitants.
Possibly.
But yeah, so again, it's just nothing like.
But yeah, that's back on the fungus thing. That's what I see is the most likely way to turn people into zombies.
Is just have this.
Now, clearly they wouldn't be like your standard zombie. They wouldn't go after brains or anything.
Actually, if I may just intercept for a second, I believe the movie The Happening by M. Night Shyamalan actually did something similar to that, where people that were spores got into people's heads and made them just want to die, like just drop dead. And it was actually the world had released these spores on mankind to stop mankind from damaging the earth.
Oh, wow.
So it was like antibody. Yeah, that's how they treated it. I think because the world it was like the world's equivalent of an antibody attacking an infection.
Couldn't they have just gone with like a more plausible answer? Like, no, these things just happen to exist in nature. It's a normal thing that has nothing spiritual behind it.
It wasn't spiritual. It was actually like they treated it as if it was, I think, a naturally occurring thing that the planet and its ecosystem actually had naturally. It was when like a sentient species hit a certain point where it was threatening the planet.
That makes no sense.
I know, but it's kind of similar to what you were talking about.
Sort of similar, yeah.
In fact, people would like literally like the thing would impulse them to just jump off buildings and stuff.
Well, in this case, they'd root themselves to the top of a building just to spread more spores and take over more brains.
Sorry, I keep hearing like a weird, like, oh, that's you.
Yeah, it's Mikey.
God damn it, Mikey.
Tricks are for kids.
What? So seriously, that laugh could like scare a child.
So you've heard my thoughts on the whole World War Z thing. Zombies in general. What about World War III?
Don't think it'll happen.
Probably not.
I mean, it won't. If it happens, it'll be very well. Then again, the other ones were like that. If it happens, it'll be very like out of the blue, because our culture, our civilization, like unless it's something really like critical,
here's a thought.
Can't see it happening.
Right now, there are so many nations that have nuclear capability, and because of that, none of them want to shoot at each other.
However,
it's the perfect defense. But we do have some crazies out there right now. Take, for instance, North Korea.
Kim Jong-il.
Yep. The guy's absolutely nutso. And recently, one of his sons took power.
Hmm?
Yeah.
Really?
Yep.
He had sons?
He had 3.
Oh, Christ.
Yeah. And now we know that recently they've tested nukes, and they've even fired missiles over Japan. So they've got a fair enough reach with them. But what happens if they actually do make use of their nuclear capability? I mean, once one person shoots one, everybody will start wanting to throw the things off.
Not necessarily.
And aside from that, if they do finally rattle the saber enough that someone decides that it's the last straw and that we have to invade North Korea and, stop all the suffering of their people, etc., 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 with the people who they have in power, they probably wouldn't be afraid to nuke their own soil if they start losing.
Yeah, they're going to probably take them and South Korea with them.
It would be a very
bloody war, I think.
Yeah.
And also, since the
tragic.
The people there are indoctrinated to love their king.
Indeed, but not all of them do.
Well, obviously.
And I shouldn't say most, but all the ones that I've seen live very miserable lives alone, doing things that they are told to do, even if Well, for instance, there's another documentary I saw, and the guys are on a tour there. They went and they were driving through the countryside, and they met this. Well, they came across this tea shop, and they had other stuff there, they had games and whatnot, and there was only one person there. This girl, she runs the shop, she entertains all the guests, but they were the first people that she's met in months, many months, and the place doesn't even make any money, but she's state mandated to do it anyways. And aside from that, there's all these poor towns out there that, well, they don't have any power. They're
practically living in the Dark Ages.
Yeah, they really truly are. And these are the sort of people that, I don't know. Personally, I think they'd much rather rebel against their leader if given the choice.
If they had the chance, I'm sure they would. Especially,
I mean, just recently, they've actually had people trying to escape North Korea, and this happens every few years or so, and well, they all get shot by their own side, or if they escape into, say, China, they just get sent right across the border again.
Ouch.
They just no, we don't want your kind here. Just go back the way you came, and bang, shot for treason. But yeah.
Wow, that's kind of sad.
It really is. Now, these are things that I think could most likely cause World War III anyways. Or rather, that country would be the ones who'd be most likely to instigate it. So what about you guys? I put in quite a lot of thought on this, but...
Yeah, you definitely put more thought than I thought. I mean, I think that the way our society runs right now, we have things in place right now that the other that our predecessors during World War I and II didn't have, like, say, a large like kind of gathering place for all the countries to like do and debate and stuff like that, the UN and stuff, right? They didn't really they had it, but it wasn't as developed as it is now.
Yeah,
there's a lot more paperwork nowadays. And even now, like, we do have wars, but we don't have like major world wars. Like, we have the Gulf Wars, and we had
but here's
smaller wars.
The funny thing about that is that while we are supposedly all members of the United Nations, with massive air quotes there, we still have wars, even though we're all supposed to be allies, and we all have a representative in that place.
And at the same
time, in fact, I think the only country that doesn't have a representative on the UN is the Vatican, and they're not bothering anyone.
Well, yeah. Because have you seen, like, last I checked, there wasn't a Vatican army.
There is, actually.
That's just scary. the Neo Knights Templar,
the Swiss Guard, but
I mean, like,
they're actually fairly well equipped too. Well, but anyways, yeah, we're all supposedly allied, but we all still have these wars. We all still have these dictators that nobody likes, and yet we don't do anything about it
because it's their country.
Yeah, but
it's free will, and I know that's
their country, but they're breaking international laws.
Still, we put up with it to keep the peace, even if they are bastards.
I would much rather have a world that's free of like less bastards if it's at the cost of peace. I mean, these people should have freedom. They shouldn't have a dictatorship that is completely screwing them over every day of their lives.
Yeah,
they deserve better.
Well, clearly, I mean, look at South Korea. They have the esports network. They have video games. They have technology.
Do they ever have video games?
Social technology. They have everything there. And I'm sure, like, North Korea, if given the chance, would love that stuff.
Oh, absolutely. Among other countries.
Instead, they're stuck in the 80s because of their
dictators. Farther back than that,
really?
My friend. Yeah, they're stuck in like the 40s and 50s as far as their culture is concerned.
Oh God.
Oh yeah, it's terrible. It's rough there. My train of thought. Come back, train. I still got my ticket. I found my thought train again. So,
cool.
Now, as far as freedom and everything is concerned, and as far as having peace, have you ever noticed how many riots there are lately?
Yeah, there's been a lot yes.
There's been riots pretty much all across the whole damn world. We've had them.
Always have to do with politics.
Well, they always have to do with politics.
No, not always.
And that's the only real reason to riot.
The union strikes in the 30s and 40s during the Depression.
That's not lately. I mean within the last year or two.
Fine.
Man, your sense of time is skewed. No, I mean, like, there's even been a few countries lately that have been completely overturned of their government because of these riots, of the people going against them.